Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Jake Demai. I started a bookkeeping company about 4 years ago. And in this video, I want to share a little bit about how to start a bookkeeping company. And I have 5 steps that will get you started, things that I did, things that worked. And, I've kind of adjusted it based off of what actually worked. And I did a few things that didn't work. And so let me jump right in. If you're looking to start a bookkeeping company, the first thing I would say is I would have accounting experience. It's hard to start a bookkeeping company without accounting experience. You can read a bunch of books, you can take a lot of courses, but if you haven't worked directly for somebody else, for another CPA, if you haven't actually done the bookkeeping work yourself, then it's hard to start a business doing it. So my first recommendation, if you don't have any bookkeeping experience and you want to start a bookkeeping company one day, I would highly recommend getting a job working either at a CPA firm doing bookkeeping or working for another bookkeeper who is willing to hire somebody without experience. So it might be hard to find that first job to get that experience if you don't have an accounting degree. So you might have to go back and get an accounting degree, unfortunately. Now, I know there are people who have done bookkeeping companies, have started bookkeeping companies without an accounting degree and without a job, without like any experience. But I think it's just a lot harder. And that's not the path I went. I had an accounting degree and I had 7 years of experience working at a CPA firm. I think I could have started my bookkeeping company maybe 3 years in, maybe 4 years in. And so I wish I had started my bookkeeping company earlier. But if you don't have experience, then like a lot of these accounting concepts are going to be difficult to understand. The debits and credits, the journal entries, the payroll, taxes, like there's just even just the basics, the profit and loss, the balance sheet, the statement of cash flows, being able to explain the balance sheet to people, being able to explain how the numbers work. Those are all really important things that you need to understand. And so that would be like step number one. You need accounting experience if you're going to start a bookkeeping company. If you already have accounting experience, then you have all the skills you need to be able to start a bookkeeping company. So this video is really for people that are already working in an accounting field. Maybe they're working at a CPA firm or they're working for a large company kind of in like a tax wing or an accounting wing. This video is for you. So if you have that kind of experience, then there's really 5 steps to get started. Step number 1 is you need to think through some of the initial stuff of your business. You need to come up with a business name. You need to come up with just generally kind of the services you're going to provide. I am a big fan of doing one thing and one thing really well. And so for what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about bookkeeping businesses. I'm not talking about a CPA firm that offers a lot of services. What I do is very simple. I basically manage QuickBooks Online and I provide financial statements on a monthly basis. I don't pay bills. I'm not sending out invoices. I'm not filing taxes. I'm not doing projections. I'm not doing CFO work. I'm not running payroll and filing sales tax. I just do bookkeeping in QuickBooks Online. And so that's what I would recommend for you. I would really just go all in on that concept. One book that I would recommend, a few books that I would recommend as you get started is Built to Sell. I loved that book. It was really easy to read. I actually listened to it. Actually, all my books I listened to on Audible, but Built to Sell, I forget who wrote it, is a really good book before you get started. It just, for me, one of the concepts in it talks about, doing one thing, like you're doing one thing and one thing really well and being the expert in that one thing. Another book I would recommend is Traction. Traction is a great book. Again, I can't remember the author's name. Maybe I'll put it in the description, but Traction is a great book that kind of just gives you like a 10-year, vision for what you want your company to look like. You don't need to have it all figured out, but I just think it was helpful to read. It got me excited about my business, and it gives you a few things to think about down the road. And then the last book I would recommend is E-Myth Revisited. It's just a classic. It's a must read for any business owner. The biggest concept is like the idea of working on your business and not in it. And when you first start a business, it's not super important to have read these books, if I'm being honest, but they are important books to have in the back of your head. The knowledge from those books I think are really important for people that want to start a bookkeeping business. And then the second step, I would say, well, I guess going back to the first step, I would say, think through the business name, think through your vision, what you want for the company, read some books. And the last thing I would say about this is set up a QuickBooks Online accountant subscription. So the accountant version of QuickBooks Online is free. You don't need to pay any money for it, but you want to sign up for your own login with QuickBooks Online. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to take on clients. And so when somebody hires you, they'll use the email associated with that account, and they will give you access to their QuickBooks. And so you'll use QuickBooks Online Accountant to as your hub for accessing all of your clients. And in the QuickBooks Online Accountant login that you've created are trainings that are really helpful in QuickBooks Online. So if you have accounting experience but you don't have QuickBooks Online experience, some of the trainings in the Pro Advisor module are really helpful there. Step number 2, once you figured out some of the basics, like your business name, what you want for your company, the step number 2 is to just take the leap and post on social media. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have an LLC. You don't even have to have a business bank account. You don't have to have a website even yet. The first thing I would say to do is to post on social media. And the biggest reason for that is if you don't post on social media, if you don't tell anybody about your company, you're never going to start it. You just aren't. You're never going to take that leap. And so the most important thing you can do is post on social media and tell everybody that you're starting a bookkeeping company. Post on Facebook, post on LinkedIn, post wherever you're at. Let everybody know that you're starting this company and that you're excited about it. And if they know anybody or if they need a bookkeeper, to reach out immediately. The reason I say this is because it kicks in this instinct to follow through, this instinct to prove everybody that you're actually going to do what you said you're going to do. And it gets you going. It gets the ball rolling. It forces you to figure things out, to figure out exactly what your pricing is going to be, to figure out what your website wants to look, what you want your website to look like. And it just is a great way to get going. I find that a lot of accountants struggle with analysis paralysis. They never start the bookkeeping company that they talk about. I know people, I talk with a lot of people that want to start their own bookkeeping companies. And guys, like I would say 90% of them never do it. They just never do it. They have everything they need. They have all the skills. They have great personalities. They could start this business, but they just get stuck in this analysis paralysis. They think they have to have it all figured out. They want to be like ultra prepared. But the problem is you're never going to be prepared enough. You're never going to have it all figured out. The website's never going to be perfect. If you don't take that first leap, then don't even try. It is my opinion. Don't even try. If you can't post on social media about your bookkeeping company, don't even start this company at all. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable. You have to be willing to post on social media, and you have to be willing to talk about your company. Now, you might be concerned about like what your employer might think, and so block them. Block them on LinkedIn. Block them on Facebook. If whoever you're concerned about knowing, maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your siblings or your friends. If there's anybody that you're like, I don't feel like talking to them about this, then block them. They don't have to see your content. You don't have to share everything with everybody, but you want to start posting on social media because that's really the start, and that's how you're going to find clients. And then the step number 3 is creating your website. So after you've posted on social media, creating a really simple website is really important. So keep the website simple. I would recommend it being a one-page website. Make it personable. It doesn't have to look like this big corporation, but it has to have a few things. I would have your face on the website. You can look at my website. It's not the best. I definitely want to improve upon it, but there's a few things that work for me. It has a call to action button to schedule like a free consultation with me. So that's really important. It has my contact information. It has the services I provide. I provide monthly bookkeeping. I provide cleanup in QuickBooks Online, and I provide training and consulting for those who are using QuickBooks Online. Those are the 3 services I provide. And then I have my pricing on my website as well. I price it out. I basically do customized pricing per client. And so I provide ranges on my website to give my potential leads an idea as to how much my business is. And so the lowest I go, I think, is like $250 or $300 a month, and the highest is like $750 or $850 a month. And I provide ranges so that just people have an idea. They don't have to call and like wonder if it's going to be $5,000 a month. So that's what I would say. Get a website up. Get on Google Maps if you haven't already. Get on Google. Google's a great way to just show up when someone searches for a bookkeeper near them. Get on Google. It takes a little bit. You have to get like a postcard mailed to you, and then you have to fill it out. And then you have to like prove that you're at a real physical location. I had no problem with having my physical like home address as my business address. Now I'm in an office, and so I changed it. But getting on Google Maps is important because that's where people look for bookkeepers. People search for bookkeepers that way. And you're able to acquire reviews. So you want to get as many Google reviews as you can, 5-star reviews. And these can be character reviews. They can be reviews from friends and family or old coworkers that are willing to kind of vouch for your character, to say that you're a hardworking person, that you have the skills necessary to do the bookkeeping work. They don't necessarily have to be current clients or prior clients. You just want to get a few reviews on there. Once you get to like 20 or 25 reviews, then you're going to really funnel in anybody looking for a bookkeeper. And I would highly recommend looking at your competition in the area. Look around you in like a 10 to 15 mile radius of where you live and see what your competition's doing. See if you can be better than your competition. Look at their pricing, look at their services, look for ways that you can, beat them at their own game. And then step number 4 is hustling. So after you have the social media going, after you have the website going, it's all about the hustle. Continue to post on social media. I would recommend 5 posts per week. Make a couple of them personal, about your family, about the hobbies that you have. Make a couple of the posts, accounting flexes. Talk about your accounting knowledge, things that might be helpful. Your target audience on social media is the small business owner who is overwhelmed by the bookkeeping. That's your target audience. And so, you might post about like DIY things that you could do, how to reconcile bank accounts, how to navigate QuickBooks. All of those things are really important. And so just start posting on social media wherever you want to post. And then other things you can do to hustle. I reached out to CPA firms in the area. I had experience working at a CPA firm. And so I knew that world really well. And what I did was I emailed all the CPAs, all the solo CPAs in the area. And you'd be surprised how many there are. But create custom emails to each of these CPAs and let them know that you are a new bookkeeping company, that you're really excited about the work that you can provide. Tell them that you're confident you can provide quality bookkeeping, that you're going to tie out the balance sheet, that that you're just like you want them to think of you when they're overwhelmed and when they have the tax deadline coming up and they need to clean up QuickBooks. You want to be at the top of their bookkeeping list, because a lot of these solo CPAs, they don't have like a bookkeeping wing or bookkeepers in house. So hustle, a couple other ideas I have is you literally go door to door, get some business cards, create some business cards and hand them out door to door. I did that in the area. You could, send emails out, do like cold email marketing, where you target a specific industry. So maybe look up like all the plumbers in the area or all the electricians or all the coffee shops or all the restaurants and just start sending out emails, customized emails. I wouldn't send out hundreds of emails. I would send out like really specific emails. Really think about, who actually is going to need bookkeeping help. I wouldn't like try to market your services to really large companies that might have their own accounting wing. You want to find that sweet spot of companies that are in the range of like $200,000 or $300,000 in revenue and like 5 million in revenue. That's really your sweet spot. But again, you never know who's going to be a potential customer. So reach out to whoever you think might need it. And most likely they won't reach out, but every once in a while you will have somebody reach out, and that's the name of the game. And then as your business grows, as you gain some clients, it's all about phasing out of your full-time job. So it took me about 1.5 years to quit my full-time job. So this whole bookkeeping thing that you're excited about, it's going to take time. You're going to have to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. And so what I did was I phased out of my full-time job. I was working 40 hours a week at a CPA tax firm. And after I got a few clients, I was making like $1,000 a month. I was able to phase out and work 32 hours a week at my full-time job and then 16 hours a week at my full-time job. And once I had enough clients, I was able to quit my full-time job altogether. So that's what I would recommend, guys. If you're looking to start a bookkeeping company, that's how I would start. It will work if you're patient, if you push through, if you work hard. Eventually, you will get those first clients and you will never regret it. Thanks, guys.